The U.S. has faced both praise and condemnation over its capture of Nicolás Maduro. Venezuela's allies like Russia, Iran and China have reacted with outrage. The African Union has expressed grave concerns and called it an abduction. And several Latin American countries have called Maduro's capture a violation of international law. Several of these Latin American nations were also given warnings by the U.S. on Saturday. But even as all this transpired, America's Western allies have been cautious in their reactions. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that the UK will shed no tears over the demise of Maduro's regime, but clarified that the UK was not involved in the operation in any manner. Starmer reiterated his support for international law, but he also said that the UK needed to establish all the facts.
No, I haven't, and it's obviously a fast-moving situation, and we need to establish all the facts. What I can say is that the UK was not involved in any way in this operation, and as you'd expect, we're focusing on British nationals in Venezuela and working very closely with our embassy. And so I will want to talk to the President, I will want to talk to allies, but at the moment I think we need to establish the facts.
Meanwhile, there were conflicting reactions from the French government. Initially, Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot had put out a strongly worded post on social media. He called the U.S. operation a violation of the principle of non-resort to force that underpins international law. But hours later, French President Emmanuel Macron put up this post. Macron criticized Maduro's reign, but he said that the transfer of power in Venezuela must be peaceful and democratic. And he hoped that the 2024 presidential candidate, Edmundo González Urrutia, would ensure the transition. This is after the U.S. said that it is going to run Venezuela. European Union leaders such as Ursula von der Leyen and Kaja Kallas have insisted that any transition in Venezuela must respect international law and the United Nations Charter. However, Kallas also pointed out that the EU has repeatedly called Maduro's presidency illegitimate. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that Maduro had led his country to ruins and called the U.S. operation legally complex. However, Trump received support from Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. She called the U.S. military action in Venezuela legitimate and defensive. Norway's foreign minister put out this post on social media. He also started by calling Maduro's government illegitimate, but he also clearly stated that the U.S. operation was not in accordance with international law.